That's exciting. Oh, and I was there. That's exciting. Thanks. So I moved here in 2018, but I didn't learn about the Independence till 2019, and my very first game was September, I think it was the 28th or 29th, and we played against Hartford Athletic, and the Martinez brothers scored. We ended up winning that game, and then something I'd never experienced in a professional game before was that the players came along the fence and high-fived all the fans and took pictures and autographs, and I have been sold ever since. So I have been dedicated since 2019. So there is something very unique about the Independents in regards to their passion, and these guys never lose the love of the game. It's not just a job to them. They get to do what everybody wants to do and have that thing you love that's also your job. And they're just still real people. They love the game, but they love their fans. They love supporting the community. And all of the things that the Independence does for our community just endears them to me. So I usually come to games with my husband or a group of friends, because there's times where my husband can't make it, but I'm like, I have not missed a game all season. I missed one when I was out of town, but I always have to be there, and I love to be around people who want to support it with me. So I'll hang out with like the Mech Reserves. The Reaper and I are really good friends, but anybody that wants to go and show up and get loud, I'm down. So what I love most about the Charlotte games is just the atmosphere. The players are having a good time, the fans are having a good time, and it's just a whole experience. It's never boring. Even when we're not doing well, there's something about it that just makes you want to keep coming back. And I don't know that I can put my hand on it other than that passion. They just have a passion, and it's contagious. So coming to Independence games is super reasonable for pricing, for parking. Like, I love that we have a structure. We have the areas for the tailgating, and they're all similar in pricing. So I think it's super accessible. I live in Huntersville, so it is a bit of a drive for me, and I have to go through traffic on the freeways, which kind of sucks, and people are crazy with their driving, but it's worth it. And I think that compared to other sports teams, definitely worth the price. So interacting with the players is a pretty big deal, just because it allows the kids, especially I'm watching these little kids like scream for these players, and being able to meet them and watching them interact. It's hard to explain, but it's this relatability. These kids are like, maybe I could be that one day. And I love the diversity of our team. I love that we have players from like Venezuela, we have players from Senegal, we have American players, and all of these kids can relate to somebody, and the fact that these players come up and talk to them, and then you have these massive players like Oberton, who played in the Premier League, coming over and high-fiving and giving away his jerseys at the end of the season. Like, that's inspiring for me as just a fan, and watching it with these little kids, I'm like, I love this game, and I love how much these players love this game and then love their fans. So, like I said, the very first game was probably my first memorable experience with Enzo and Alex coming over and saying hi to everybody after they scored their goals. The impact that Brandon Miller made on the team early on, and then Pac stepping in after the injury, and now Pac's career has been amazing. Just the getting to know these players as people, and the fact that they let you in a little bit to know them as people is pretty awesome. I think my most memorable experience actually just happened this year. So when we switched over to Capelli, I know there were some things not club related, but getting gear was a little difficult. And we had purchased VIP tickets a few times throughout this season, and I talked to Clay at the last home league game before we made it to playoffs. So the game that clinched us into playoffs. And talking to Clay, I was like, he's like, just asking me how everything was, because he had just come back from surgery and all of that. And I told him, I was like, I'm just frustrated that I need an away jersey. I'm like, that's the one I love. I love what it stands for. I love the design of it. And I'm like, I just need an away jersey, and they're not here. And then when we clinched playoffs and we had that home game, he brought me his, and he signed it for me. So I got his season-worn home jersey. And the fact that he acknowledged, hey, these are my fans. This is someone who has supported our team. I want to gift this to her. Like, that was probably one of the most incredible experiences that I had, was getting that jersey, because it meant something. It was personal. So I'm super excited for the 10th anniversary. Like, that's pretty exciting. I love all of the things that the club has already talked about getting ready to do, these fan fests, these tailgates. I think that it's going to bring the community more in, and I love how big soccer is getting in the US, and I love that it's so important here in Charlotte. So I'm just excited to see what that looks like, what the games are going to look like. I'm excited to hopefully get in a few more away games this year coming in. I'm already counting down to next year, so I don't know that there's one thing I can put my hand on, but I'm just, the possibilities of what's next is pretty exciting.